Quinns, did you get my food and medicine?
Oh man, one better. I went to the model market. I got this hilarious squeezy tomato. I got a pump because we'll need to pump some stuff, and I got this lamp to replace the one that Millicent ate. Whoa.
It's Matt.
Hi, Matt. I am the genie of the... Oh, you alright, guys? Didn't notice you there.
What are you doing in there?
I got a 3-month contract as a genie. Thought I'd mix it up a bit, try something new.
Oh, that's nice.
good.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good
good because
work.
he's... Yeah.
I will grant you...
All right. Keep it down.
I will grant you... I'll do 3 wishes.
I mean, I wish I wasn't sick and dying.
Oh my god, Matt, can I have a train?
They're actually board game specific wishes.
Well, I tell you what, I've been really enjoying recently. I wish we could do a review of Bruno Cathala's 5 Tribes.
Why did you... I wish I didn't hate 5 Tribes. What do you even wish for that? We can just we could just film it.
That'd be a spoil sport.
You wasted our first wish. This is 5 Tribes, which is immediately a heck of a proposition because it's Days of Wonder, who are famous for making some of the prettiest packages around, and it comes from designer Bruno Cathala, who's famous for making excellent, exciting board games like Cyclades and Shadows over Camelot. And if anything can have a pretty picture on it, then it does. Or if anything can be made out of wood, then it is. And everything inside is kind of exotic, unusual hues and colours, and that's interesting. And even the inlay of the box is a little bit special, and that never really happens. That happens once in a blue moon. Well, have you opened the lamb?
I did. It was beautiful.
How are the entrails?
The bile was in the ascendant.
Oh, excellent.
Soon we shall have our inlay.
Yes.
Soon we shall have revenge.
Yes.
Oh, it's a pretty game. It's also quite an intimidating game to see it all set up with all these pictures and numbers, like you've just dropped LSD and then turned to a random page in a geography textbook.
It's more like a rainbow's just been sick, just like vomited its rainbowness onto the table. But a rainbow of numbers.
That's gross.
Just gone,
and 6. It's not even true. Look how nice the genies you get are as well. You get this little deck of genies, every one of which is a gorgeous illustration, name, special power. That was backwards. I'm going to keep going. Aren't these the prettiest genies you've ever seen?
I haven't seen many genies because genies are supposed to be invisible anyway.
Well, you've seen Matt.
I've seen a lot of Matt now. We both have.
We've both seen
I need
a lot
therapy
of Matt. You could have a lot of fun just looking at this game.
Could have a lot of fun with Matt.
For hours. You could have fun with this game for hours. But if you actually want to learn how to play, you're going to have to learn a few things that are kind of unintuitive, but here is how your turn works. Your turn begins with you selecting one tile in your randomized Arabia analog, and you pick up every meeple in that space. You then walk them in any path of your choice, never doubling back, leaving one person behind in each space. When you arrive at your destination by placing the last person there, you pick up every one of that colour, and that's your reward. Now, all the colours do different things. The yellow golden viziers give you victory points. The white-haired elders are victory points. They're also a currency for genies over here. If you look, I picked up 3 merchants. That lets me pick up these 3 cards off the merchant track. We'll get to what those do later. Blue builders cause a cascade of victory points. You pick up 2 builders, you trigger 2 times 1, 2, 3 for all the cities and towns and markets that they can build around the space you pick them up. And finally, red, blood red, the colour of gore. When you pick up an assassin, a group of assassins, you can assassinate one meeple in a direction or in front of another player. And that's relevant because if you empty a space entirely, then you can claim that space. If you pick up assassins, maybe you can bump off someone, allowing you to claim 2 spaces in a turn. You get 5 victory points for that. And now, finally, this is the point in the rules explanation that all your friends are going to start hating you because of how Byzantine this game is. Whichever space you pick workers up from, you also use its power. So in addition, in this case, I pick up an assassin to murdering someone and getting the space. Because I picked it up from this tile, I get to buy something from the market for gold points. The magical places let you buy genies. The towns let you put down palaces, which make those spaces worth more. What?
So naturally, you're immediately plotting little paths in your head. You're looking at where you need to need to be and how you need to get there. Say you want some more viziers, right? Everybody wants some more viziers all the time. So if you want to end on a space that has viziers, then how many jumps do you need to get there? And where can you start from that will allow you to finish there? You're constantly calculating paths on your turn, between turns all the time. And it's like clearing an overgrown forest or a jungle or just a badly maintained lawn, because the game starts very, very thick. But every time you take your turn, you cut a path through that, a swathe through the board and gradually thin it out. The game starts very, very dense, but by the end it becomes very, very thin as you clear these lovely little oases and claim them with your camels.
Not many games have a really nice arc to them, but Five Tribes does. In the beginning, you've got this really easygoing scrabble for points, getting points and tiles wherever you can. In the mid-game, maybe you've got a plan. And then in the end game, you'll actually struggle to execute that plan because the board will be missing so many meeples that not only might you not even be able to get to a tile, any trail of meeples you leave is opening up those tiles suddenly for players to just finish them and grab them. It's interesting, as if the easygoing fun you had before was nothing more than a mirage you were walking towards, and actually you're just sweating and just sweating.
Just sweating, yeah, just basically sweating because of that, because the board is constantly being rearranged. It means the game constantly changes. All the possibilities of play constantly change every turn, especially if you're in a 4-player game. You wait for play to come back around to you again, and everything's completely different to how it was before. It's like making connections across a continent, and you open your luggage every time you land and you look at how everything's rearranged. And what this means is Five Tribes isn't really a game about long-term strategies, not very often. It's a lot more about moment-to-moment planning and adapting and improvising about what's happened this turn and what you're presented with. And
it's on your turn, it's very much like a spotlight just gets pointed at you and it says, what is the best thing you can do right now?
Well, right, but the thing with that is the amount of success or fun maybe that you're going to have with Five Tribes is directly proportional to how much time you want to spend recalculating all the possible moves every turn and then thinking, what is the optimal move this turn for me? And then maybe I want to affect what you're doing maybe by making a move, but I don't know what you're going to...
There is a bit of that, but also there's so much that's just fun. Next shot. Look, I'm under the table. We're having fun already. So we're going to start with these merchant cards. These come in all kinds of different types, and you get to pick them up when you pick up merchant meeples or you activate markets. See, down here is how common that particular commodity is in the deck, and over here we've got spices and pots and slaves, and they're a difficult topic, so we're just going to ignore them. And now what players are trying to do with merchant cards is you get exponentially more gold the closer to a set you can complete. If you can get one of every different type, you get a ridiculous amount of victory points, but you don't just get to go shopping and buy whatever you want out of the queue. Rather, you always pick up the earliest cards in the list. So there's an element of, if there's something really good here and junk here, do you wait and hope other players buy them? Because maybe they won't, and maybe you should just fill your hand with crap. It's really difficult, and you're kind of wanting your friends and you're interested in the turn and what they do. And as far as acting first goes, it brings us to our favourite mechanic in this game, which is the turn order track. Now, this isn't some stodgy auction for turn order. The player who's going has to select whether they bid nothing, 1, 3, 5, and this is their one-shot deal. So do you want to go first? Do you want to go third? Maybe you just want to spend 3. And these things you're bidding with are victory points. It's a great dollop of unknowable sauce on top of this, I don't know what the is going on pie, because actually Five Tribes is quite good at not making players calculate, which is the word Paul used. You're not adding numbers together because all of the game systems are, cleverly, quite disconnected. Is it better to place a camel and get close to ending the game, or kill someone else's viziers? Is it better to get more merchant cards or build another palace? You don't really know, so you just have to guess, and that's a much more fun, primal use of your brain than calculation.
So yeah, okay, this turn order mechanic is good, and I like that. It's a way of directly interacting with what's happening. It's a chance to seize an opportunity that you see before the opportunity disappears forever because other people have rearranged the board, like they've come along and kicked over your toys or messed up your hair or kicked over your hair.
But maybe you decide that when the board shifts, like the shifting sands of Arabia land
or Nevada,
a nicer opportunity will show up. That's fun.
But it's all indirect. That is the moment that you've got control over things. And otherwise, it's like you've got a Rubik's Cube that you're passing around the group, but no one's actually trying to solve the Rubik's Cube. They just twist it and it comes back to you.
Nonsense.
And it's a mess. And it's... Look, I've got to think about where I am now in life. Okay, I'm 34 years old, which means I'm going to die soon.
Yes.
I don't want to spend the final weeks that I've got left in my life on this earth, you know, before I waste away looking at a game like this, endlessly recalculating move after move, because that's what we did on our turn, is we looked at the board, and then you can get hypothetical. You can think, all right, well, in 2 turns time the board might look like this, but at that point it becomes ridiculous because half of that is pointless, and you realize you're kind of doing hypothetical maths homework, or you just wait for your turn because there's no point in you planning too much anyway. And so we all sat there in silence, just staring at the board like chess players frowning, except chess is at least a game where you directly interact with the other person, whereas in this you don't. You just lie back and scratch your arse and think of England
until your turn. That's
your turn.
You're
and then,
thinking, don't you have a will to write?
I do, because I've just got, even this review is minutes of my life just gone.
Okay. Paul's partially right. 5 Tribes is exhausting, but it also doesn't outstay its welcome. You can finish it in just over an hour, even with 3 players. And secondly, that stuff about players not interacting, that's just wrong. You interact all the time, but it comes down to how good at the game you are. You see, in worker placement games, conflict-averse games, often they make you decide between doing the thing you really want to do or actually hurting somebody else. With 5 Tribes, no. You can guess at who's in the lead, you can guess what they want to do, and you can formulate an idea as to how you might take that away from them while doing another thing you want to do, because you can pick up different colours on different tiles. Make no mistake, the best way to enjoy 5 Tribes isn't doing the stodgy calculations Paul's talking about, but going a bit Professor Xavier and ignoring the grids and the numbers, but instead looking at above and using the game's art design and just guessing at colours and guessing at patterns. I'll explain kind of what I mean. Don't look at all of this with all of its sort of Aladdin nonsense. Just look at whether there are tiles worth claiming for now. Okay, look at the big numbers here and let your eyes go to the big 3-dimensional structures. You can claim any of those if they've got all one colour of meeple. That doesn't look so good. Okay, so swap. Just look for yellow. Yellow is always worth grabbing, so this cluster of 3 is good. Maybe we can beat it. Just look for blue. You want blue numbers and blue meeples. Do you see anything that's really good? Yeah, shit. If we grab these 3 builders, we'll get surrounded by a ton of blue. Yeah, that's worth doing. So do that. Pick these 4 up. Get a crap load of victory points. Was it the right move? Don't think about it. Just do it. It seems right. Follow your gut. This is how we enjoy 5 Tribes.
I've just done my will and I'm back now. So have you had your turn? Because I've written 6 short stories and I've been to Madagascar, and
I actually am not at all slow at taking my
discovered
turns
a new element
in board games. I'm really fast. When I walk up into the club, all the girls are like, that boy.
That he takes a reasonable amount of time to have a turn in a board game.
In board games. Basically, to be frank, Paul and I have never disagreed more on a game than with 5 Tribes. I think it's a really neat puzzle, a series of systems within systems that requires a lot of mental agility to even try and guess your way through, and I think that's a lot of fun. And Paul is wrong.
Well, I don't think it's a lot of fun because I think it's slow and overcomplicated and endlessly reinvents itself and just requires too much.
Why don't you like me, Paul?
It's hard.
Oh, no.
It's just hard and difficult and too much. It's trying to be an intelligent game for layered systems, but at its core, it's chaos.
No, it's not. It's about controlling that chaos. It's about...
It's trying to be clever, but clever isn't fun anyway. Clever and fun are 2 different things.
Well, that I can agree with, but I did find it neat.
Okay, well...
But I am good at it, and that's always fun.
This is how we feel, and obviously you as a viewer have your own free will and can, based on our own arguments, come to your own conclusion using your own judgment, which has probably been granted to you by a genie.
Oh, hey, what happened to our genie?
Yeah, Genie, I was trying to work out who to give my stuff to when I was doing my will. He's in the other room. Hold on.
You're right. You've still got you've got 1 wish left.
Well, hang on. What about the wish that you didn't fulfill?
I tried, which is legally what counts. I mean, it's not my fault if you guys try to abuse the system, by wishing for unrealistic things.
What? Genies don't have systems.
Actually, there's a really comprehensive set of rules and regulations for genies. Obviously to avoid problems with representation in employment. There's a lot of problems with, as with most non-Western cultural fictional things. We've got romanticism, exoticism. I didn't get this role without a fairly good understanding of the problems within, genieism.
Genieisms.
You could abbreviate that to
You've got to pick a third wish. You've got to pick a third wish right now.
We can do that anytime. We'll just put you on genie standby.
Yeah, we could just put you, like, what happens if we unrub the lamp?
You can't unrub it.
There you go.
You can't do this! I'm supposed to be getting off work in an hour.
Oh, well, that's good. We've got a wish.
Great, we've got a wish. If we ever write ourselves into a corner now,
Yeah.
we've got a wish as a narrative device that we can employ.
That's really good.
That's good, isn't it?
If we're ever stuck.
If we ever don't know what to do in a review.
I wish I could think of a funny end.